Hello, my beautiful and magnificent Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for remembering the divine royalty that resides within your very heart. I need you to find a quiet moment just for you. Pause if you must. Take a deep, sovereign breath in, filling your lungs with the golden light that is your birthright. And as you exhale, I want you to listen. Listen not just with your ears, but with that great, courageous lion's heart of yours. Because the message that the universe has orchestrated for you today is not a simple forecast. It is a divine decree. It is the validation of a deep, unsettling truth that your noble spirit has been sensing for far too long, a shadow that has dared to fall upon your throne, a chill that has tried to diminish the sacred fire of your light. Someone, my radiant Leo, has been orchestrating a silent coup, a clandestine campaign designed to tarnish your crown and make you forget the very sun that you are. Have you been feeling it? That subtle creeping sensation that your stage has grown smaller, your spotlight has dimmed. Have you sensed a strange coldness from your audience? A feeling of being misunderstood or misrepresented in the very kingdom you built with your warmth and generosity? If your soul is roaring a resounding yes right now, then I need you to do something to anchor this profound moment of recognition. Go to the comments section below and declare your sovereignty to the cosmos by typing, "I am reclaiming my throne." See this not as a mere comment, but as a sacred pact with your own magnificent destiny. And if you have not yet joined our pride here at Cosmic Wisdom, take this moment to subscribe and become part of a journey that honors and uplifts your spirit. We are walking this path of remembrance together. Now let's pull back the velvet curtain and expose the truth of these shadows. When I speak of a coup, I am not speaking of a simple misunderstanding or a fleeting moment of jealousy. Oh no, Leo, your energy is far too grand for such petty grievances. This was a calculated, insidious plot. It was an energetic contract, funded by the currency of profound envy, a conspiracy hatched in the whispers of those who could not bear the effortless brilliance of your light. Think about it, magnificent soul. You were born of the sun. Your very essence is to shine, to warm, to create, to lead, and to love with a generosity that can feel boundless. You build kingdoms not through force, but by the sheer magnetic power of your authentic heart. You share your light freely, believing that your warmth can nurture everyone in your orbit. And that is your superpower. But for those who live in the barren, cold landscapes of their own insecurity, your light does not feel like a gift. To them, it feels like an indictment. Your effortless radiance illuminates their own lack, and rather than doing the sacred work of building their own inner fire, they chose a darker path. They chose to try and extinguish yours. They couldn't challenge you directly, of course. Cowardice always shuns the light. A direct confrontation with a soul as powerful as yours would be unthinkable. So they operated in the shadows. They became masters of insinuation, weaving tapestries of doubt with half-truths and carefully chosen words. They sought to poison the court, to turn your loyal subjects against you, not with a roar, but with a whisper. They aim to destabilize the very foundations of your confidence, to make you question your own brilliance, to make you second-guess the very generosity that is the hallmark of your soul. And here is the part that cuts deeper than any blade, the part that your fiercely loyal heart struggles to comprehend. The architect of this shadow campaign, the mastermind behind this plot, was not a declared enemy. No. The wound is so profound, the betrayal so chilling, because this person was a member of your own royal court. This was someone you let into your inner circle, someone you shone your brightest light upon, someone whose potential you championed, whose spirit you nurtured, whose loyalty you never ever questioned. You may have shared your secret doubts with them in a moment of vulnerability, your fears about not being enough, your dreams for the kingdom you were building. You gifted them with the gold of your trust, the most precious currency in your realm. And they took that sacred knowledge, that map, to the tender chambers of your heart and used it to orchestrate your downfall. They smiled to your face while planting seeds of discord behind your back. They applauded your successes in public while quietly trying to dismantle them in private. They were the planet that grew tired of orbiting your sun, consumed by a desperate, corrosive need to feel the warmth of the spotlight for themselves, even if it meant creating a total eclipse of the one who gave them light in the first place. I know you have spent countless nights on a lonely throne, replaying conversations, analyzing every word, every gesture, asking that heartbreaking question, what did I do wrong? How could I have been so blind? But you must understand, beautiful Leo, you are trying to comprehend the mechanics of treason from the heart of a true monarch. You cannot fathom this level of betrayal because disloyalty is a language your soul does not speak. Your code is one of courage, of honor, of unwavering protection for those you love. The idea of using someone's vulnerability as a weapon is utterly alien to your noble nature. The deepest agony was never about losing your position or your popularity. It was the shattering realization that the very person united with your trust was the one who secretly handed the enemy the keys to the castle gate. Your soul has known this all along, hasn't it? You didn't need a signed confession. You have seen the truth in the flicker of their eyes, felt it in the hollow ring of their praise, and sensed it in the chilling, energetic void where their warmth used to be. And if you are hearing my voice right now, it is the universe itself, roaring through me, saying, it is time. It is time to name the treason, not to seek revenge, but to finally definitively banish the traitor from your kingdom forever. You owe them no confrontation. Your silence, your withdrawal of the life-giving energy of your light is the most powerful statement you can make. All you need to do is place a hand over that great heart of yours, close your eyes, and whisper to your own spirit, I see the truth. I know what was done, and my reign will not be broken. They may never admit what they did. They may continue to play the victim, to project their own shadows onto you. But you no longer need their confession to heal. The truth, the one your soul has held all along, is the only key you need to lock the gates behind them and begin the sacred process of rebuilding your kingdom on a foundation of unshakable wisdom. So right now, I invite you to perform a small but powerful ritual of sovereignty. Take a piece of paper, write down the name of the person or the energy that first rose in your mind as I spoke of this betrayal. Write it down, not to anchor yourself in bitterness, but to give your spirit a physical place to set down this heavy crown of sorrow it has carried in silence. This act is a royal decree of banishment. It is a farewell to the version of you who gave your power away too freely, who believed that everyone's heart was as loyal as your own. From this moment forward, that version of you has abdicated. You are now a soul reawakened, a warrior of the light, whose throne can never again be threatened by shadows. And this, my magnificent friend, brings us to the next great question that has likely been echoing in the halls of your mind. If they truly plotted against you, If they went to such insidious lengths to see you fall, why are you still here? Why are you still standing? Why didn't their coup succeed? The answer, radiant soul, will arrive not like a thunderclap, but like the steady, undeniable, and glorious light of dawn, cutting through the deepest night. You see, you were never fighting this battle alone. You could not see it with your physical eyes, but you have been perpetually flanked by a celestial royal guard, a force of unimaginable power and light. Every single time you were about to walk into an ambush, a social gathering designed to humiliate you, a business deal meant to bankrupt you, and a sudden, illogical impulse made you change your plans, that was not a coincidence. Every time a secret was about to be exposed, but a timely distraction saved you, that was not luck. I am here to tell you about the one who has been standing between you and the invisible daggers aimed at your heart. A celestial warrior, an archangel whose very name is a battle cry, who wields a sword forged in cosmic fire to defend the divine truth. A being who will never ever allow a soul as pure and vital as a Leo to be extinguished by the petty machinations of darkness. That being is the Archangel Michael, the commander of heaven's armies. And this is the moment you realize with every fiber of your radiant being that your throne has always been divinely protected. Journey back with me in your memory for a moment. Think of a time you were on the verge of a major public move, accepting a promotion, launching a creative project, committing to a partnership. Everything seemed perfect on the surface. The stage was set. The audience was waiting. But in that final moment, something deep inside you roared a visceral, full-body no. There was no logic to it, only a powerful, instinctual knowing, a whisper from your soul that said, "This is not your stage." And you listened. That day likely passed without any drama. You never knew the trap that had been laid for you. You never saw the daggers hidden behind the curtain. You may have even chastised yourself for being fearful or indecisive, but that, my dear Leo, was the moment your royal guard intervened. That was Archangel Michael, working through your magnificent intuition, amplifying that inner voice of truth that is your greatest compass. In ancient traditions, there are beings known as Dharmapalas, wrathful deities who serve as fierce protectors of sacred teachings. In the angelic realm, there is no fiercer protector of divine light and sovereignty than Archangel Michael. He is the one who stands eternally between the shadows and the suns of this world. And I believe you have felt his presence countless times. Perhaps you were about to confide in someone to share a brilliant new idea, but a sudden feeling of coldness, of distrust, washed over you, and you held your tongue. That was intervention. Perhaps you typed out a furious, roaring message to expose a betrayal, but a strange sense of peace descended upon you, and you deleted it, averting a chaotic war that would have only drained your precious energy. You have been protected, Leo, not just once, but 1,000 times over. The protection wasn't always in grand miracles. It was in the silent, subtle, and powerful course corrections. It was in the sudden urge to take a different path, leading you away from a confrontation. It was in the technology that failed just before you could commit to a toxic collaboration. It was in the friend who cancelled plans, leaving you feeling rejected, only for you to realize later that you had narrowly avoided a den of vipers. I once worked with a Leo man, a brilliant performing artist, on the brink of signing with a new manager who promised him the world. The contract was drawn, the pen was in his hand. But as he went to sign, a beam of sunlight suddenly burst through the window directly into his eyes, blinding him for a second. In that flash of light, he felt a wave of nausea and a voice in his head that said, "This is a cage, not a stage." He put the pen down and walked away. Months later, he discovered that manager was a notorious fraud who had financially and creatively ruined every artist he represented. He learned to listen not just to the applause, but to the divine interruptions. Leo, you have a direct line to the divine, an unbreakable connection to your spiritual protectors. But because your generous heart is so focused on your kingdom and your people, you sometimes try to rationalize away these sacred signals. Please, I implore you, stop doing that. Every time you meet someone new and feel an instant inexplicable drain on your energy, that is your soul roaring a warning about a court jester who seeks to usurp your power. Every time you are about to step onto a new stage and you feel a profound sense of hollowness, that is Archangel Michael whispering, "This is not where your light belongs." The rejections you have mourned, the opportunities you thought you lost, the times you felt isolated and alone, none of these were punishments. They were the most sacred, loving acts of divine protection. Have you ever considered that what has kept your fire burning all this time was not just your own incredible resilience, but a celestial bodyguard shielding you from the arrows you couldn't even see? If that is true, then you are no longer a solitary monarch defending your kingdom. You have an army of light at your back. You have been, you are, and you will always be protected, as long as you remain true to the sun within your own heart. I don't need you to believe this with your logical mind. I just need you to get still and allow your soul to remember. Recall the times you dodged a bullet without knowing why. The moments you changed your mind at the last second and later felt a wave of overwhelming gratitude. The instances where your intuition was so powerfully, chillingly accurate, it sent shivers down your spine. Your gut feeling, Leo, is not just a feeling. It is divine intelligence speaking directly to you. Your intuition is your most loyal advisor. Trust it implicitly. Yet not every threat comes from a declared enemy. Sometimes the deepest wound comes not from the one who wields the dagger, but from the one who carelessly leaves the castle gates unlocked. This is the person who exists in the gray spaces, the one who is neither overtly for you nor against you. This is the person who smiles at both sides of the conflict, the perpetual neutral party, and it is their so-called neutrality, their refusal to choose a side when your honor was on the line, that has inflicted one of the deepest wounds of all. In our quest to understand the anatomy of your pain, we must now confront this other face. Not the mastermind, and not your celestial protector, but the one who served as the unwitting or perhaps willfully blind conduit for the darkness. This, my noble Leo, is the hardest truth to swallow, not because the betrayal was so dramatic, but because it was so disappointingly mundane, so painfully close to home. This is the courtier who enjoyed the warmth of your fire, who feasted at your table, who basked in the glory of your kingdom, but who, when they heard the whispers of treason in the hallways, chose to say nothing. This could be a friend, a family member, someone you considered a loyal ally, someone who heard you being slandered and chose silence, someone who witnessed an injustice against you and chose to look the other way. They didn't need to attack you. They only needed to be passive. Their sin was not one of commission, but of omission. They heard a lie about you and didn't correct it. They saw your name being dragged through the mud and didn't defend it. They possessed a truth that could have exonerated you, and they chose to withhold it all for the sake of their own comfort, to avoid making waves, to maintain their own precarious position. And in the great court of cosmic law, Silence in the face of injustice is its own form of treason. You, with your great and understanding heart, have likely made 1,000 excuses for them. They didn't want to get involved. Maybe they were scared. Perhaps I'm just being too dramatic. But I am here as a voice for your own higher self to tell you to stop. There are actions that require no further analysis. In the kingdom of a Leo, loyalty is not a part-time position. It is an absolute. And their silence was the loudest declaration of their true allegiance, which was, and always will be, only to themselves. Have you ever had a person like that in your life? Someone you believed would have your back, only to find they weren't there when the shadows fell. You don't need to wage a war against them. A true monarch doesn't stoop to the level of petty squabbles. You simply need to make a new decree, a new boundary forged not from the fires of your anger, but from the cool, hard steel of your wisdom. Starting today, let your heart choose its court again. Not everyone who was with you in the beginning deserves a seat at the royal table of your magnificent future. Setting a boundary is not an act of cruelty for a Leo. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. Write their name down and then gently, symbolically revoke their access to your inner sanctum. Your light is a privilege, not a public utility. It is time for your soul to decide who is truly worthy of basking in its warmth. And as you begin to curate your circle from this new place of enlightened sovereignty, a quiet miracle will begin to unfold. You won't have to go looking for it. New light will find you. New souls will enter your life. People who are not intimidated by your fire, but are drawn to it. People who don't want to use your light, but want to add their own to it to create a greater blaze. True allies. A court of equals. Because even if you've been pushed out of your old circles, a new, more brilliant kingdom is opening up before you. A place where you no longer have to perform or shrink yourself to be accepted. And it is from this new elevated vantage point that you will see with perfect crystalline clarity what the ones who betrayed you are now quietly beginning to face. There are some battles, my dear Leo, you do not need to fight. The universe, with its perfect and immutable laws, is the most powerful and precise avenger. The law of karma never ever forgets an address. You may have looked at their lives from a distance and thought they got away with it. You see their curated smiles on social media, their hollow boasts of success, but you are only seeing the surface. The truth is, they are living with the energetic consequences of their choices every single day. The one who plotted against you, the one who chose silence, they are now beginning to reap what they have sown. The deafening silence of the light you have withdrawn from their lives is enough to send their own inner world into a chaotic spiral. Do you remember those sleepless nights, Leo? The nights you were tormented by the feeling of being misunderstood, your reputation under attack. They are beginning to have nights just like that. Do you remember the profound loneliness of feeling like your own court had turned against you? They are now beginning to touch the edges of a cold and desolate isolation they cannot name. This isn't because you wished it upon them. Your magnificent energy is far too valuable to be wasted on revenge. It is happening because that is the elegant, inescapable nature of cosmic balance. And the most beautiful miracle in all of this is that you don't have to look back. You no longer need to wonder if they regret what they did. You no longer need to wait for an apology that will never come. Because what matters is no longer their story. It is yours. It is the fact that you are still here, more whole, more radiant, and more powerful than ever. It is the fact that the brilliant, untamable sun within you could never be extinguished. It is the fact that you chose not to let their darkness define the person you would become. Your soul, magnificent Leo, did not come to this earth to engage in petty revenge. You came here for alchemy. You came here to be reborn from the ashes of what once felt like the end of your reign. You came here to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that a heart that has been betrayed can still love with ferocious generosity, that a soul that has been deceived can still lead with unshakable integrity, and that a light that was once targeted by darkness can still shine brighter than 1,000 suns without asking for anyone's permission. Take a deep, cleansing breath. Feel that. Does your chest feel more expansive? Do your shoulders feel less heavy? Does your heart no longer feel like it needs to be guarded? If the answer is yes, then you are exactly where you are meant to be. You are no longer who you were. You no longer need the applause of those who betrayed you. You have given yourself a standing ovation first, and that is the only validation that has ever truly mattered. They may be facing their downfall, but you, my friend, are in the midst of your glorious coronation. Not to be higher than them, but to be higher than the version of yourself who once dimmed your own light for fear of what others might say. I want you to perform one final sacred act. Find a piece of paper or simply open a note on your phone. Let no one else see this unless you choose. Exhale all the old, stale air from your lungs and write these words as a royal decree from your soul. I have seen the truth. I forgive what was. I reclaim my throne, my light, and my sovereign power, now and forever. Write it like you are signing a declaration of your own divine independence. Write it like a passport out of the prison of a memory that no longer has any jurisdiction in your soul. Write it and then step forward into your future. No looking back, no regrets, because what is coming for you now is a life of authentic power, a light no longer hidden, and an entirely new chapter written by you with a voice that no longer trembles and a heart that no longer needs permission to be the magnificent, radiant, and brilliant force of nature that it was always destined to be. Thank you, my beautiful Leo, for staying with me on this profound journey. Thank you for not allowing the pain to tarnish your golden heart. Thank you for choosing the light, especially when you were surrounded by shadows. I wish for your coming days to be as powerful as the sun, as steady as its rise, and as full as a heart that has finally remembered its own infinite worth. May it be that anyone who comes to you now will not require you to shrink your power to be loved, but will love you because of it. Thank you, Leo. You are never ever alone. The universe has seen it all, and your glorious reign is just beginning.